Did you guys realize that there's no such thing as a miniature pig? Did you know this? I just found this out. You know how celebrities a couple of years ago used to buy teacup piglets and thought that it was like a miniature piglet? Did you know there's no such thing? They just a farmer's lie. They sell baby piglets. They deem them as like teacup piglets, but they really grow to be anywhere from like 50 to 150 pounds. Like a 50-pound, 60-pound pig is not a real teacup. And it really just is how much you feed them. They'll get massive. Did anyone know this? My brain. If you were looking for a Sane podcast episode, this isn't it. Did you also realize that Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell is half Indonesian? He's not fully white. Did anyone know this? I'm sorry. I don't know. Ask me how I remember this stuff, how I find this stuff on the internet. I have no idea. But I read two stories I got down the rabbit hole with this weekend that Mark Paul Gosselaar's mother is Indonesian. They had to dye his hair bleach blonde the entire time he was on Saved by the Bell. He never had naturally blonde hair. And he's half Indonesian and half German. Who knew? I mean, what? And his mother's like stunning, still alive. They were estranged for a hot second because she was his manager. But now I stalked her Facebook page and they are back. Like she supports him here in LA. What? Just a big thing. My mom lives in Maine. We all know this, right? My mom lives in Maine. She famously had a goat farm. And her neighbor was recently telling me, I talk to my mom, talk to the neighbors every once in a while, make sure my mom's good. And the neighbors were telling me because they have like an animal rescue up the street and they have a ton of pigs at this animal rescue. I didn't even know this about animal rescues. God, so much to learn in the world, right? And sometimes I come on this podcast and I really make it sound like, you know what? I fucking know what I'm talking about. You should be listening to Sarah Fraser. And then I'm like, I don't have a clue. There's so much shit. So they were saying that they have this animal rescue. They might have 3 horses. They probably have now 10 to 15 pigs because people buy at like Union at the fairs and everything, these so-called quote unquote teacup pigs, and they don't exist really. They might be like a smaller dwarf pig where like they grow to be 85 pounds, but but people think that the teacup pig is going to like only grow to like 30 pounds. Like it's going to be a tiny pig and it's not. They actually grow to be massive pigs. There's no such thing really. Like the tiniest pig might be 50 pounds, but most teacup pigs get to be 150 to 200 pounds. Mind blown. Put me on Jeopardy. Oh God. Welcome, Frasiacs. Brand new Sarah Fraser Show. Love that you are here. Lots to cover in the television world and my own IVF journey updates. And I need your advice. Schman is always telling me, stop meddling. Stop meddling. Schman, people need to sometimes meddle in your friend. This is I don't really meddle in that many people's business because most people don't want your advice. But like good friends, family, of course. And, if there's really a situation out in the world where I feel like something could be wrong, I just inquire, hey, are you okay? Mostly like people wandering or something. It's like, are you all right? Because you never know. Somebody could be here in California. You don't know if someone's homeless, in a diabetic shock. You have no, what is going on? No clue. No clue. So, I meddle a little bit, but I do have a friend that is thinking about divorcing her husband. I mean, don't we have all kinds of friends that aren't we all thinking about divorcing our husbands? I mean, aren't we all close to leaving a man? Anyway, I just want to know how much I should support her. She calls me every week. She talks about this. They've been married for several years and she wants my advice. And I'm like, I don't know. Should I give that much advice? I mean, I've known her husband for years too. Is that weird to be giving? No, she's the better friend. I mean, I've known her like a long time, but probably like 15 years I've known her from my DC days. But should I be giving, but I know him from that long. I mean, should I be giving her my therapist's name and all that stuff? I mean, and you know what I've realized too? I'm almost maybe a person that's like, oh, you guys can work it out, figure it out. You guys can work it out. And I'm like, I don't know. Is that helpful? Maybe I should be giving no advice. Thoughts? Oh, I don't know. It's like, where's the line, right? Because have you ever advised a friend to leave somebody and then they came back to you and said, wow, fuck you. I really wish you'd told me to stay with them. Now they're with like this hot model. I wish you'd like shut your mouth. You know what I mean? And it's complicated. Now, these two don't have children, so thank God they don't have kids. I think they've been married like 5 years or something like that. And they have pets or whatever, but she just wants more. And I'm like, I don't know. Is this a phase? It's really so I'm always curious, and I always advise people like therapy because I'm not a trained therapist, even though I play one on this podcast. I only know what I know. I know that therapy like saved Schman and me. And my therapist, I think like, oh my God, Lee Conant, you guys should all call her. She's she's an emotional cognitive therapist, which means like you have to go deep with all your arguments and stuff. It's like, what emotion is underneath this? Well, Lee, I'm pissed off. Schman loves to have his earbuds in around the house all the time instead of focusing on me. No, but she like completely saved our relationship. And she was the one that sat us down and she was like, you guys really have something here. If you walk away from this, you'd kind of be crazy. I see a lot of people. I don't say that all the time. I was like, oh my God. She didn't say it like in those exact words. So I always recommend people to therapy, but then I'm also like, I don't know. I feel like maybe when it comes to advising your friends, when your friends come to you and want advice or they want to vent about getting divorced from their significant other, what do you say? Anyway, you can go to my Reddit, reddit.com/r/the Sarah Fraser Show. I would love your advice because I almost feel like a little bit I'm encouraging her too much to stay. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if she's going to come back and go, look, bitch, I should have left his, because time is so precious, right? Which is why I'm going to get into The Golden Bachelor. Is anybody watching this show? It's so good. It's so good. But time is of the essence. It's like, we do have a limited time here on earth, so if you're unhappy, but there's just that fine line of like, what's unhappy? And then what is like, if we could stick this out and get to the other side, things would be really good. Because there's nothing inherently wrong. He hasn't cheated on her. She's just like almost going through like a midlife crisis. She's not happy. He's not adventurous. What man is? What man out there? I've learned with Schman, like his Schman would always say to me, I'm a simple man, which was like a frightening statement. I was like, oh, God, I don't want to be with boring. But, I'm never dull. So it's a really nice mix because I do know if I was with someone with my own energy, it'd be chaotic and I'd be resentful. Like Schman trusts me in a way that he won't admit, like does that make sense? Like we're on this adventure. We moved to LA. Like he will do things that I want to do because I think he knows, he believes in the vision. He believes in the, in what we're doing together. So he says he's a simple man and he is in some ways, and like we go back and forth. I know I've been talking to you guys about this, buying a house here in Los Angeles, which will happen. And, he like, even the neighborhood, I'm like, man, let's like live in Brentwood, and he's like we can afford like a 1-bedroom in Brentwood. I'm like, I know, but you're in Brentwood and if you surround, it's manifesting. If you surround yourself with people that are doing better than you, that have achieved all these things, eventually you're like water seeks its own level. We're going to do so well. We're going to buy that $4 million, $5 million, $25 million house in Brentwood. Come on. Man's like, oh, I don't want to live in those neighborhoods. They're too snotty. Oh, man, who cares? Everybody doesn't think their shit stinks in every neighborhood. So let's live in the old Brentwood. Anyway, I'll keep you posted what neighborhood we end up in. But I would love to know. I do think I'm actually pressuring this woman too much to stay. I do. Because I don't know, it's hard for people to change, especially if he's not going to go to therapy and jump in, which he's not. He doesn't want to go to therapy. Like I said, they've been married about 5 years and they don't have kids. She thinks she wants to have a child. She's not sure. He'd be fine with that. But she just finds he has no ambition, she says. No real ambition. Loves to play video games. Doesn't really have any ambition. And, doesn't... kind of is happy with just like his small group of friends doing the same thing every Friday night. And he's fine with her going out and doing other things, but she wants to like build a life together, be challenged, wants somebody smart and intelligent. Anyhow, let me know. All right, let's move on to my like little IVF journey. How about that? So I'm sure you guys can all relate to this to some degree, like sticking things in your vagina. And we're all sticking things in our vagina in different ways, but I'm seeing a new IVF doctor. Really love her. I think I've said this. And essentially, I went for a couple of appointments. She's like, oh my God, you have 16 follicles, which, lead to your eggs. She's like, this is like a lot for a 41-year-old. But what's happening is I'm ovulating very late. And so essentially what they've assessed from my miscarriage, even though there is no official diagnoses, some wires got crossed. I wanted the fetus to be tested for like chromosomal issues, what could have been wrong. Instead, somehow it got mixed up. They only tested it for pathology, which essentially means was there like cancer, some sort of issue with the fetus that could affect me? There wasn't. So I don't think I'm ever going to get a chromosomal answer. But what they do think happened is I'm ovulating late, so my eggs are overcooked. That your eggs, did you even know this could happen in women's science? Who knew? This is like the teacup pig thing. You can ovulate so late that your eggs are basically scrambled. They're like eggs gone bad, like a stinky egg in your refrigerator. That's what I have in my vagina. So they're going to try to get me pregnant naturally by doing some Lupron shots to trigger ovulation. And then, I'll have to be putting progesterone. I actually am already putting progesterone pills in my vag to get my progesterone levels up. So there you have it. So, I don't know why I made that story sound like it was like it's happening now. Like, okay, I've done the Lupron shots and I've done the, sorry, I really, I don't know why I made it sound like it's going to happen. I think because I'm still nervous about like saying it, sorry. That was a weird moment. Okay. So I've given myself these Lupron shots. Now I'm putting these progesterone pills in my vagina and then I'm going to find out if I'm pregnant. So, it's nerve-wracking to say out loud, but that's what's happening. I'll keep you posted, sort of. I know you guys all understand, like the journey is all personal. Like I know there's no pressure to share. It's like, share if you want to share, Sarah, share if you don't. And I want to share. And then there's just like that fear inside you. That's like, what if it's disappointment, Anyhow, that's the point of us all sharing, right? Isn't that the beauty of where we are in 2023? People are talking about miscarriages more than ever, that people are talking about their fertility journey more than ever, that women are talking to women and OBGYNs are saying, hey, you have a ticking, my OBGYN said for years to me, you have a biological clock, it's ticking. Do you want a kid? No, I hate children. And I woke up like 35. I was like, what? I love kids. Anyway, I will keep you posted. Sorry, that was kind of bizarre. But like I said, every once in a while, this fear creeps in and I am debating about whether to talk like an actual timeline or that I'm going to do this. But I will keep you posted. And I know there's no pressure. You guys are the best and you'll support me when I'm ready to tell whatever it is. I just keep having these fantasies that I'm going to really show it all and really let people go through the journey with me, all the highs and lows.